Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to Madam Nurul Izzati. Today, our group want to present about public relation and copyright law in subject public relation, which is the subject code is DTE 30123. Okay, next, I want to introduce our team members. First is me. My name is Muhammad Hadi bin Hassan. My nomenclature is 09DEV21F1016. Next is Amshana Jahan bin Isa. His nomenclature is 09DEV21F1031. And next is Nur Insyirah binti Syahari. Her nomenclature is 09EV21F1010. The last but not least, Dia Afrika binti Azmi Rizal. Her nomenclature is 09DEV21F1014. And the lastly is Muhammad Amir Rizal bin Muhammad Fazil. His nomenclature is 09DEV21F1028. Okay, next we continue this presentation about table of content they have on our presentation. First, we have the definition of copyright law. We present by me, Muhammad Adif Hassan. Next, we have the types of copyright and element of copyright. We present by Muhammad Amsyah. And we also have the issue on copyright law. We present by Nurul Insyirah. And we have the how to avoid copyright infringement. And important about the copyright law, we present by Dia Afrika. And the lastly is benefits of copyright law and conclusion will present by Muhammad Amir Rizal. Okay, next I want to continue this presentation about what is definition copyright law. Okay, copyright refers to the legal right of the owner of intellectual property. In simple terms, copyright is the right to copy. This means that the original creators of product and animal, they give the authorization to are the only ones with the exclusive right to produce the work. Copyright is intended to protect the original expression of an idea in the form of a creative work, but not the idea itself. Copyright law give a creators of original material the exclusive right to the further use and duplicate that material for a given amount of time, at which point the copyright items becomes a domain public. Public relation involve a lot of creative work. Public relation as a professional only as valuable as the work they produce, and therefore must protect their creativity, ideas and work. Copyright means protection of a creative work from unauthorized use. It does not protect ideas, only the specific ways those ideas are expressed. Major public relation materials such as brochure, annual reports and videotapes must be protected to prevent unauthorized use by the competitors. Okay, now I will pass this presentation to our group members, which is Amshana Jahan.
Thank you, Muhammad Adif. My name is Hamzana Jahan Muhammad Isa, nomenclature 09DV21F1031. I will continue this presentation with copyright types. For the first type of copyright is a literary works. As we know, copyright under this category cover works that include original or unique literary creations. The literary works can be in the form of script, novel, biography, lists, technical books and programs. Copyright for this can be claimed regardless of the literary merits, style or quality of the works. Copyright under a literary works provides inclusive rights. The next type of copyright is dramatic works. This is also a form of literary work. This includes any type of preparations for a play to be performed. Silly performance, entertainment, drama, choreograph or regular writing works. Dramatic works, however, don't include any kind of cinematographic films. Copyright under a dramatic work give inclusive rights such as to make the works available to the public. Next, musical works are one of the type of copyright. This is because musical works are their own copyright. Musical works do not include lyrics or sounds. For the protection of musical works, a separate application has to be made to the Copyright Office. Also, works related to sound recording usually depend on musical works. Musical works don't need to be written to enjoy copyright protections. Lastly, the type of copyright is sound recording. Sound recording should include any type of recording, whether in any form or storage media. It can include any sound containing the singer voice without the music. Podcast or recording audio. Sound recording also include music, which is why the permission of the creator or creation of the music is required for copyright protection of sound recording. On the next slide, I will explain a little about the elements of copyright. There are three elements of copyright. The first is originality. Originality is an important legal concept with respect to copyright. Originality is the aspect of a created or invented works that makes it new or novel, and thereby distinguishes it from reproductions, clones, forgeries, or derivative works. In this case, an original work stands out because it was not copied from the works of others. There is no objective minimum amount of content required for a work to be included within the scope of copyright. The Copyright Act defines only two requirements for copyrightability: original authorship, originality, and physicians. Original means a work created through the fruits of intellectual labor. Originality therefore requires not only that the author has not copied the works or from another, but also that there is at least some minimal degree of creativity. The next element in copyright is creativity. Creativity is therefore one of the basic requirements for copyright protections. To meet this criterion, a work must include something that is above and beyond the originals. True verbatim use is not considered original. References to original work that is used to discuss a new concept is considered original. The creativity therefore need only be slight for the work to be eligible for protection. Lastly, physician is the last element for copyrights. Physician is a prerequisite to copyright protection. It's a departure from prior law in that publication with notice was the prerequisite previously. Protection attached the instant of physician as long as the order requirement of originality is met, and is fixed when its embodiments in a copy or a phono records by or under the authority of the author. That's all for me. I will pass this presentation to Inshira.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Inshira binti Syahri. Now, I will continue the presentation about the nowadays issue on copyright law, which is a famous filmmaker and continue fight. This issue was happened in Malaysia about the novel author who is Ilyas Haji Idris and the famous filmmaker who is Datuk Muhammad Yusof Mat Aslam and his son Syamsul Yusof. Ilyas Haji Idris, the author, is the plaintiff. Datuk Muhammad Yusof Mat Aslam and Syamsul Yusof is the famous filmmaker is a defendant. Ilyas Haji Idris, or we will call him Ilyas Idris, is the author of novel Aku Bosya, has claimed that his copyright has been infringement by the filmmaker who is Datuk Yusof Aslam and his son Syamsul Yusof by producing a film titled Bosya Jangan Pilih Jalan Hitam. In the film has a very similarity plot, content, theme, the character, and also same message that wanted to convey. Both film and novel also have a same focus, which is in drug abuse, gambling, alcoholism, illegal racing, and the effect to society. Both novel and film also portray the same theme about young sexual victims, girls, and involvement in illegal races. After hearing at the High Court, it's too bad the High Court dismissed the plaintiff claim, which is the author claim. But Ilyas Idris filed an appeal against the decision at the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal has concluded that there are many striking similarities between the plaintiff's novel, the defendant film that cannot be considered a mere coincidence. This is also cannot be termed a similarity in ideas, nor is it considered a common genre. Okay, the Court of Appeal held that the evidence of causal connection between the original work and the infringing copy can be established directly or indirectly. In this case, the court was of the view that the causal connection was indirect because it says that the original work had been published and was therefore available to the public. Defendants, who is the famous filmmaker Datuk Yusof Aslam, would have a prior access to the novel. Even the novel was no longer in the market, but it's still available in the library and any bookstore. The court held that the causal connection should not be given a restrictive interpretation because it would leave a lot of original works unprotected. And lastly, the Court of Appeal allowed that appellants or the plaintiff claim and found that there was indeed copyright infringement on the part of the respondent. However, this copyright dispute has yet to end. The respondent also had filed an appeal at the federal court against the decision of the court appeal, and the federal court has yet to fix a hearing date. And that's all. Thank you.
Hi, I am Dia Afika. We'll be continuing with the way to avoid copyright infringement. Firstly, do not take anything from internet because there is the same information with the same detail in another web on internet. Secondly is we can be more creative in creating a movie, song or books or anything so that anything that we create is fully from our ideas. And lastly, do not rely on fair use, which we have to follow the limitation of copyright. For the importance of copyright law, firstly, it helps to protect the value of an author or academic or the researcher work because they have put a lot of ideas and effort in doing something they love in their job. But it's easy for everyone copy it and it's not fair for them. Secondly is the record of ownership, which every copyright taken must be recorded by the owner to know who takes the information. And lastly, prevention of their work being copied to the degree where they cannot sell it effectively or receive credit for it because there is a lot of people being copied and created as themselves.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Amiriza bin Muhammad Fazil. My matric numbers is 09DEV21F1028. So I will continue this presentation with benefit of copyright law. Copyright not only provide protection to the creator's original works, but also to the reproduction by various means of all part of that works. This protection is in the form of two rights known as economic right and the moral right. The first point is economical right. Copyright protection entitles the creators to control use of their literary artistic material in a number of ways, such as making copies, performing in public, broadcasting, use online, and to obtain an appropriate economic reward. Creators can therefore be rewarded for their creativities and investment. Copyright gives the creators the right to prevent others from exploiting the works in various ways without permission. These economic rights enable the creator to charge a fee or royalty for the reproduction of the work. An example of the power of economic right is where an author of a book can also benefit from movie adaptation of their books as well as sale of merchandise associated with the book or movie. The last point is moral right. Copyright also gives moral right to be identified as the creator or author of certain kinds of materials and to object to the distortion and mutilation of it. An author is right to object to the modification or derogatory action in relation to his or her work, most often used to object to any treatment or use of their work by others which the author or creator feels could damage his or her reputation or integrity. A common example of this is often seen in election when artists or songwriters object to the use of song by controversial politics or reputation. Before we finish our presentation, we already prepared some video, so enjoy the video.
Whether you're a local artist composing your own music or a massive studio filming the next blockbuster, all creators should understand how copyright, public domain, and fair use affect their work. Although these legal concepts can be somewhat confusing, we're here to break things down into easily understood language. Keep in mind that this video should not be taken as legal advice. Also, we'll be focusing on copyright in the United States. Copyright is the concept that original works, such as writing, photos, or music, belong to the people who create them, and that you cannot use, copy, modify, or publish that work without permission. If you violate copyright, it's called copyright infringement, and you may face steep consequences, such as lawsuits or criminal charges. The vast majority of movies, music, books, photos, and other types of popular media are protected by copyright. Generally, those copyrights last for the lifetime of the creator, plus 70 years after their death. However, the duration of a copyright can vary due to its publication date and ever-changing copyright laws. When a work has no copyright protection, it enters the public domain. Content in the public domain can be used, modified, and published without permission or restriction. This includes all works published prior to 1923, as well as works with expired copyrights. Creators can also place their content in the public domain if they desire. Although you normally need permission to use copyrighted material in your own work, there is an exception called fair use. Fair use allows you to use brief portions of copyrighted works without permission for certain types of use, such as criticism, teaching, or news reporting. However, fair use can get tricky. For instance, you may not be able to claim fair use if you use the copyrighted work for a commercial purpose or take too much of it. When in doubt, always respect the creator's copyright and use as much of your own material as possible to avoid issues. Although copyright, public domain, and fair use can seem like giant, complicated subjects, you should now have a better understanding of the basics.
Last is conclusion. The registration of copyright is vital to protect the work from unlawful use or duplication, since it serves as prima facie evidence of the work's ownership. It also allows the owner of the registered copyright to maximize the value of the work by licensing, assigning, and raising capital. Although registration is not required for copyright, it does safeguard the owner's right from infringement. As a result, registering the copyright is highly recommended in order to protect the work and get the most out of it. That's all from us. Thank you.